Ready? On 45. Look, on 45.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, everyone. The Garage Hustle joining you for another week. We are here and excited with Germination Labs, James Fry, and his newest venture with his wife, Alexiana Fry, and Peace and Toil. What we thought today should be about, since it's 5 days before our first inaugural pop-up shop here at Blueprint, is defining the word hustle and how James and Alexiana took an idea from 6-ish weeks ago and making it a reality. So we're just going to quickly map some stuff out. James is going to lead us in the discussion. We're going to ask some questions and hopefully motivate you, our entrepreneurs, how to do it yourself and in 6 weeks change your life. So with that,
Change your life.
Change your life.
Change your life.
is that a better intro?
No, that was a perfect intro. What you guys didn't know is I was take like 19. So,
Lisa
yeah,
Anderson knows.
we are, unless you're live. Yeah, we are, my wife and I have been, over the last month and a half, just dreaming up a new business venture. And she'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the purpose and the why behind it. But it has just been a wild ride of, we started, it was an idea just before the end of October, and it's a reality this Saturday at our pop-up, December 9th, 10 to 6. So just in case we forget to say that later.
At Blueprint
Please
Collaborative.
come.
Here at Blueprint.
Here.
So come buy a plant. But I think maybe the best way to start is just to let my wife introduce the idea of Peace and Toil, why we're doing houseplants.
Yeah, why houseplants? That's a really good question. I used to be a plant killer. It's remarkable, but I used to be a plant killer. We would go and visit new cities all the time, and they would always have these beautiful houseplant stores, which always just made me a little peeved that Grand Rapids didn't have one, because it doesn't make any sense. We're a growing and developing city. Why wouldn't we have something that pretty much every other city has? With that, just also really thankful that whenever I would go in there and I'd be really excited about this plant, they would be so knowledgeable and so friendly about what it means to take care of said plant. And what I realized was this difference between the big box stores. So yeah, you can go to Home Depot or Meijer and pick up a $2 plant, and it's a grab bag. You don't really know what you're gonna get. But my plants that I would buy at these specialty houseplant stores were much more resilient. They were well cared for before they got into my hands.
They were healthy.
They were healthy. Meanwhile, even just a couple weeks ago, a plant that I bought at a big box store had bugs in its soil, and I didn't know that. And you don't know that taking it home. So, just really excited about what it looks like to bring specialty houseplants. I get seasonal depression. I'm digging having some green in my house right now. Houseplants.
Who doesn't love a Michigan weather?
Yeah, it's cloudy and rainy and windy today. So, yeah. Do you guys have any questions to kind of prompt where we're going?
First idea. Who had the first idea? How was it? Was it written down? Was it just like, bam, middle of the night? Was it like...
Our idea unfolded at Long Road.
Yes.
Gin and
On a
jazz.
napkin.
Gin and jazz on a Monday. We literally wrote it out on a napkin. A 4-part business plan that outlined what are we talking about here? Why are we doing houseplants? Why does it matter?
Shout out to Noah.
Yeah, so I think if we talk about our start point, it was a Monday night. I don't remember. We should probably know the date of when that was, but it was Monday.
No idea.
Gin and jazz, and our bartender overheard us talking about it. He's like, what are you guys planning? And right there is just like, let's pitch it to him as if it's an idea we're running with, even though we're not sure if we're gonna do this. And at that point, we were shopping for a building. We were like, let's buy a building, let's turn it into a new store. And so I think we had this huge idea and a pretty strong why, which is where we started. And from there, had a conversation with Brent. I think I had a building in mind that we drove by 1,000 times and kind of talked to Brent about it. You want to tell them what your feedback was?
We looked at that. We looked at multiple buildings, and we just said, that's a big step, right, to the incubation.
That's huge.
Right now, we don't even know if it works. So I said to James, long story short, after a couple things didn't work the way that we wanted, we said, let's try a pop-up. Let's see if there's the market that we hope. So I read a book once called Minimum Viable Product, right? That's more product. This is more, service, if you will. So how does it work, right? Let's see if you can get 300 people in here wanting a specialty house plant.
Right.
And do it again, right?
Yep, let's
So
try it
how
on
can
the
I
market.
support that with the blueprint? And here we are. James took the ball and ran with it, and I think that's why it's important we're showcasing this today. So
Yeah.
we got the space, and then what?
We worked on the name for a long time.
Yeah, I'm curious about the name. Where did
Yeah.
the name come from?
This is my wife.
What does it mean exactly? Because I had to Google it myself. I was like, I know what piece it is, obviously.
Right,
I was
right.
like Toil, and I was like, I like
Yeah.
it's a good branding. I like the flow of it.
Yeah, so a couple things. One, I'm not only a full-time graduate student getting my master's degree, but on top of that, I also work for my church. And so I do a lot of sitting in front of a computer screen and a lot of reading and a lot of writing. And so this changed to on Mondays when I would be doing laundry and homework at home, I would also take care of my plants. And it just hit me one day as I was working with my plants, just this crazy change of pace from what I'm always used to doing. My hands were dirty, dirt under my fingernails, which I don't normally care for, pretty tidy. But just this aspect of this, I'm sweating, it's laborious, it's work, it's toilsome. Like sometimes I'm cutting leaves off. Not fun sometimes, but in the midst of all of that, this overlying piece. And that's where sort of that name came out of.
Yeah.
I really wanted it to be not, because you can do everything right and a plant might still die.
Yeah.
And so there's this aspect of, there's peace in all of that when you're working with your hands and you're getting into it,
Yeah.
but it's still hard work.
Yeah. For us, I think it was a correlation that happens where life is about, I mean, we all work. It's part of what we do here on this earth. We work, we produce, we create, we do things. Sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it doesn't, and that's not always in your control.
No.
That correlates really well with plants and just the way that you can care for something. It might not go well, but if you do everything right, you can give yourself maybe the best odds to do it well.
I have another question. I think it's very powerful to talk about not being stuck at the idea stage, right?
Yeah.
So many people at a bar and have an idea. They might even write it on a napkin. They might even pitch it to the bartender. But as soon as they get home, the excitement is gone. And they just kind of stop.
The excitement is overlapped by the hurdle, right? So
Yeah.
my question is great. You guys got an awesome why. You've got tremendous passion. Well, what are you going to do with it? What did you do with it? Because you're still not here, right? We're not at the end.
Right.
So what's the next step?
This was really me.
Yeah.
She, I think, would have been okay with this being an idea up in the clouds.
I'm a realist.
She
fear.
probably would have looked at a lot of our life. Like, we're so busy right now. My business is growing. She's finishing grad school in 2 weeks, a week and a half now.
Week and a half now, yeah.
It's like we are at the busiest we've ever been, and to create and start a business didn't make sense logistically for us. And there's one night she was working late for an event at church, and I was like, I am going to make this logo. I'm going to register the domain. I'm going to register the LLC. I'm going to get all that stuff in line today, just in case we're going to run with this. It wasn't even a for sure yet. And when I unveiled the logo to her,
It was it.
Done.
it
The easiest client yet.
well,
Not true.
There was some revisions, just like there should be with every good logo
There were.
design. But it was just taking that first step of taking. It's like what you're saying. You can let your idea live up in. Here, I'll draw a cloud here. It can be up here forever, and you can talk about it with a million people. But if you don't take one step to bring it down and make that hit the ground and make it a reality,
So what were those?
it won't ever do
What were
that.
those 3 step ones? You mentioned them.
You said it. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. So
A logo.
we created a logo.
Registered an LLC.
Probably the first thing was make sure that our web domain was available.
That's true.
So that we didn't have to change it. So
We got to give people the guide to how to do this.
we registered peaceandtoil.com. We
Where'd
got
you
that on
register it at? Google
lockdown.
Domains.
We used Google Domains or maybe GoDaddy. I don't remember where it's registered. It's registered. We got it down. So registered Peace and Toil. Registered the LLC. If you don't know how to do that, you can quickly talk to a lawyer, or you can do it online.
Or come to Blueprint. We'll
Come to
help you out.
Blueprint. We can talk you through it.
LLC, next one.
And then we created a logo. We developed our brand, and
Brand
that was really the first visual piece to really get our idea to be become reality.
So I'll say what I see here. You took the step one, which is multiple steps, baby steps, pretty easy to do in one night. You got motivated, overcame the fear that night, right?
Oh, he
and
did.
You came home and started saying, this is more and more closer to reality.
Yep.
The fear is diminishing, and it's a snowball effect.
Right.
I say step two, next thing you did, it became easier, I bet, right? Because we're already committed. We own the website, which is easy to do.
True. I wouldn't say it gets easier. And I think it was fun too, because even texts that you would send through him to me, I think all of us here, even starting a business, it's like a wacky roller coaster ride where you're going, oh my goodness, this is so great, this is so great,
like,
and
oh
this
my
is
gosh,
awful,
this
and
is
no one's
trash.
gonna show up, and I'm terrible, and a plant then dies, and then you're going, well, can't even do this
Can't do
right,
that.
so this is miserable.
That means you're on the right path.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's something to take away from. Maybe if there's one real thing to take away from this episode, it's that if you're building something and you're experiencing fear at 3 in the morning and you're not sure if it's going to make it, and you've got all those doubts in your mind, you're probably on the right path. And you're in good company, because every one of us around this table, we've had that same exact fear. We've started something, we can imagine every single possible way it will fail for sure, and then you remember, oh, I can take one step forward.
Yep.
And that's really what it is.
Step two, I want to be cautious of
Oh,
time
yeah.
here,
No, you're
so
good.
let's move. Step two, what did you do?
Step two was really the planning a plant shop idea. So
Yep.
the pop-up really came in step two,
Yep.
but it coincided with you doing research,
Yep,
wholesalers.
yep. You gotta
Write it
figure
down.
out all that stuff.
Details, right?
Yeah,
Details.
wholesalers.
That's really what it is we needed to
Details.
figure out, there are plants that you just can't get in Michigan. They don't grow in Michigan. So what does that look like? We
So-
researched tons of wholesalers, figured
Wholesalers,
out.
you got the location,
Yep.
you figured out what? Social media?
Social media was a huge step, because you gotta build a following before you even announce anything.
What else did you do? There's got to be more.
It's really this simple. Like there's not like a 30-point you need to follow this. It's we figured out where we're going to source our plants. We started to build our social media following. We've injected a little bit of ad spend on our social media ads. We've engaged our followers. We've partnered with some of our friends who have also started businesses to do giveaways.
Yep.
And we've built traction. This morning we just broke 600 followers for being live for about a month. So it's kind of crazy.
That's huge.
I feel like this number one step is something that everybody can do with every idea. Whether it's ineednaps.com or iwantpizza.com, whatever it is, like this is something that can be done to move
Yeah.
towards like step two and then
Yep.
making these incremental steps forward. I would rather have 100 ideas that have the LLC registered, the website registered, the logo, knowing that I at least did the small, like
Yep.
that step,
Yeah.
than like sit in the, over here
Yep.
idea phase
Totally.
of everything.
Totally.
I like this cloud thing, bringing that down.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a good way to do it there.
We-
This got me excited too, and then this was very intensely practical, which my brain works this way. And so just to be able to be like, all right, little things like I want to order specific kind of bags that
Yeah.
people take things home in, like the little details, the little practicalities.
snowballs. It
Yep,
builds.
Yep, and it just is, yeah.
And you
So-
gotta build an obligation too. I hate to keep going back, but like once you do this, it's like, oh, I have to
There's
keep going.
stuff involved
because, like,
here.
this is registered, and like
Yep.
there's people who are looking and saying,
Yeah.
oh, they
Yep.
stopped posting, or like you have to keep this going now.
Follow
Absolutely.
And I think the most important point is here, taking the idea and doing the first thing. Right?
Absolutely.
The minute you do that, then you feel committed to it, you feel responsible to it,
Yeah.
and it feels exciting, right?
We were at Long Road for an hour and a half, hashing out all, like really digging through
Yep.
why are we doing this?
Yep.
And it felt, leaving there, maybe because of the drinks too, but it felt compelling enough that we said the next morning, we should keep pulling this thread and see what happens.
Yeah.
So we're up. Go ahead.
So it's step 3 now, like pop-up shop.
Pop-up shop.
So
Pop-up.
what's the goal of the pop-up shop? Just to get everybody exposed to the brand, everybody to follow you guys on
Yeah.
Instagram, like
We're testing the market.
testing the market.
We, in our minds, it seems like a no-brainer because it's not here in Grand Rapids yet,
Yep.
but we need to test it.
Yeah.
What's our goal?
I mean, my goal would be that I'm
Sell
not
out.
taking plants.
We're selling out. We're selling out before 6 o'clock. We want to shut down early.
That would be awesome.
That's our goal.
That would be awesome.
And then beyond that, it's sort of a revisiting of, okay, how did that go? we kind of reevaluate. Even if it flops, that doesn't mean that the business is a fail. It just means that we can readjust and maybe say, you know, maybe the pop-up wasn't the right time. Maybe we need to try that again. Maybe we need to actually get a brick and mortar. It'll give us information to know what's next.
So what you're saying is at the end of this, we know we're going to have this. We're going to have,
Oh,
we're going to have options.
Yep,
We're going to
there's
have
a
questions,
movement.
right? We're going to pick our path.
Absolutely.
And it's just getting to that step to validate with any idea, whether it's a physical space, a plant shop, an ice cream shop, whatever it may be, to try it and do it.
Yeah, this whole entire process, the question that has kept me going throughout all of it is, why not?
Right.
We don't have anything. I mean, we might
What do you got
lose
to
a
lose?
small amount of investment that we've bought a bunch of
Cash.
plants, but at the end of the day,
Christmas.
in my mind, that dollar sign was worth to
Trying it.
potentially change the course of our lives and try to build something. It's worth every penny.
Any questions before we wrap up? I think it's important.
I think it's cool to kind of sum everything up. So I think this topic is like how to start a business, how to start an idea. Like you start with the why, and then you figure out how, and then you can come up with the name and the logo, and then from there, you're really serious about that idea. Then get your website down, get your LLC down, and from there you can take the details of like, all right, how exactly are we going to do this thing? Like, if you're doing flowers, you need to buy flowers. We need to buy plants. We need to take photos of these things. And then after that, you need to test the market, right? You need to see like, does this work in my city, in my area, with my friends and family, people who are following my business? Can I build something out of this? And then from that, you have options. And then the world is yours.
Absolutely.
I like it. I want this to be a book. You guys should hang this up or something.
We will. We'll
This
frame
is
it with
maybe
our
steps
napkins.
to
We'll
With
put
the
our napkin
napkin.
right
Maybe
here.
we'll
We
all
did keep the napkin.
we'll sign it and we'll give it away.
Yeah.
No, this is proprietary information.
Go ahead.
Just to
You
wrap
ready?
up, follow us, The Garage Hustle, Instagram, Facebook. Just follow along, and then we are actually doing a giveaway today on Peace and Toil. So if you go to Peace and Toil, all one word, just spelled out with the @ Instagram, giving away a sweet plant and some other stuff. So check us out, and then December 9th here at Blueprint Collaborative from 10 to 6. Pop-up.
Perfect.
Bless.
All right, until next week.
Till
Thanks.
next week.
Thanks.
Keep hustling.